Marc Marquez arrived at Jerez this morning and went fifth in FP1, his home circuit, his reset weekend, the round the entire paddock has been pointing at for 3 months, and the session was topped by Fabio Di Giannantonio, a satellite Ducati on fresh tyres, while Marquez ran used rubber and ended up behind him, behind his brother, behind Bezzecchi. That is one session. It means nothing on its own, but it means everything as a context. So what is the story everyone is missing? And why does it start not at Jerez but at a ski resort in the Dolomites in January? Let's be honest about what the last 3 months actually looked like from the outside. Marquez struggling in the first laps. No GP podium through 3 rounds. A long lap penalty at Austin. 5th in the championship, 36 points behind Bezzecchi. Retirement speculation building every week the announcement didn't come. And Ducati's own general manager going on camera before a home race to confirm his rider's fitness. That detail alone should tell you something. Team managers do not go public on fitness because they feel good about the situation. They go public because the question is already loud enough to need an answer. Underneath all of it ran a contract situation, the paddock treated as genuinely unresolved. One question hanging over the entire European swing: is Marquez actually staying? The answer was already yes. It had been yes since before the season started. At the team presentation in Madonna di Campiglio in January, Marquez said something that passed without much comment. "I think some riders will close already before the first race. It's true that I'm one of them." Not a hint. A confirmation dressed as ambiguity. He was already in conversations with Ducati. He already knew which way it was going. The team knew. The inner circle knew. And then Ducati announced nothing, and Marquez said nothing more. And the retirement narrative, the shoulder concerns, the Honda links, the one-year deal speculation, filled every space they left open and ran for 3 months without contradiction. So why did neither of them correct it, either of them? Because the contract was signed at Sepang in February, during the pre-season test, between February 3rd and 5th, while the cameras were pointed at lap times and shoulder assessments, and whether Marquez looked comfortable through the corners, the deal was done. Ducati confirmed they would announce it when they chose. The reason given was administrative, factories holding announcements pending the new Concord agreement. But the effect was something different. A rider under contract looks different from a rider in negotiations. A rider in negotiations has pressure on him that a committed man does not. And oh yeah, neither Marquez nor Ducati corrected any of the speculation running in that gap. The silence was not uncertainty, it was a choice, and both of them made it. And this is where the story changes. Because that silence was not neutral. When a defending champion lets a retirement narrative run, lets rivals believe he might walk away, lets the paddock debate his future, lets the pressure build, while sitting on a signed contract, that is not a man in crisis. That is a man managing information. And the paddock, which prides itself on knowing things, spent 3 months asking the wrong question. Reporters filed retirement pieces. Pundits debated Honda. Agents floated numbers. All of it pointed at the wrong door. The question worth asking is not why he stayed quiet. The question is what the silence was protecting. And the most uncomfortable answer is that it was protecting the thing underneath the contract debate that nobody has said clearly. The bike may not be able to give him what he needs. The tyre warm-up problem is not a Marquez fitness problem. It was never only a Marquez fitness problem. Di Giannantonio described it after Austin with more precision than anything coming out of the factory side of the Ducati garage. The others can brake later, use the front to turn the bike, and at the moment the GP26 cannot. That is a satellite rider describing the structural limitation of the machine he shares with the world champion. Not a setup issue, not a tyre choice. The aerodynamics of the RSGP26 allow Aprilia to generate front load under braking that the Desmosedici cannot currently match. Marquez absorbed the blame publicly. "I'm missing, not the bike." But that is what champions do. They take the weight so the criticism lands somewhere manageable. It does not mean the weight was entirely theirs, and it does not mean Ducati deserved the cover. So Marquez signed the contract while injured. while the bike had a structural deficit in the phase of the race where it is most exposed, while a satellite rider was publicly describing the limitation the factory team preferred to frame as a fitness question, and Ducati, who could have announced the renewal at any point in the 12 weeks between Sepang and Jerez, chose not to. They had cover. The factories agreed to hold announcements collectively, but Ducati also had a reason of their own to let the silence run. A rider who might retire generates a different kind of scrutiny than a rider locked in through 2028. The narrative about uncertainty kept the pressure diffuse. It kept the conversation pointed at the rider instead of the machine. Nobody was pushing Ducati hard on the bike because everyone was still asking whether they would even have Marquez next year. And that is a very convenient question to leave unanswered when you are about to bring a new aero package to Jerez. And then Jerez, his circuit, the supposed reset, Daligna on camera saying he will be 100%. And make no mistake, a general manager going public on a rider's fitness before a home race is not reassurance. It is management. The question was already circulating before he answered it. Ducati also confirmed this week they have found something for the Spanish GP. A new package. New data from the Monday test that follows this weekend. All of that is real, and all of it is worth watching. And then FP1, ending with a satellite Ducati on top on fresh tyres, and Marquez fifth on used rubber. That is one session. It proves nothing. But it also confirms something it shouldn't have to. But it also confirms that the reset was not going to announce itself in 45 minutes of Friday morning. The real question this weekend is not whether Marquez is fit. I think he is closer to himself than he has been all season. The question is whether the machine can do its part. People thought the story of the last 3 months was about a struggling champion, injury, uncertainty, retirement, decline. It was really about a signed man playing an unsigned role in a narrative that served everyone around him. The contract was done. The decision was made. The retirement speculation was noise in a room where the answer had already been written down. Marquez isn't going anywhere, but staying and winning are different things, and the contract doesn't fix the machine. The tyre warm-up deficit is still real. The Aprilia is still pulling away in the laps that matter. And Jerez, which everyone framed as the fitness test, is actually the first weekend where fitness is no longer the excuse. What does the gap look like when it is not about the shoulder? That is what this weekend has to answer. Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.